Bergdahl's capture. I asked Sergeant Butow, was he concerned that Bergdahl voluntarily or under duress was giving information to the enemy?
We were incredibly worried about that. It's impossible to know for a fact if that's what was going on, and it could just be coincidental. But the fact is that we knew from radio interceptions that we have got that he was, before he got in touch with the Taliban, he was looking for someone who spoke English so he could talk to the Taliban. And when we heard that, it told us, okay, he's actively seeking out the Taliban, so at least we know that. And yes, over the next couple months, all the attacks definitely were far more directed. Where before he left, I mean, we'd have IEDs go off, virtually every day, but they were going off in front of the trucks. They were blowing up mine rollers. They're blowing up on the side of the road. Following his disappearance, IEDs started going off directly under the trucks. They were getting perfect hits every time. Their ambushes were very calculated, very methodical, like they knew what we were going to do. Obviously, there's no way to prove that Bergdahl was feeding them that information. At least I cannot do that. He knew our tactics. He knew exactly how we react to certain things. So the fact that that attacks definitely were more directed and calculated, it's incredibly suspicious to me, although there's no way to prove that Bergdahl was feeding them information, whether he was tortured or whether he was giving it on his own accord.
Tell me about this. You said you had gotten intelligence that Bergdahl had been seeking out the Taliban and looking for somebody who spoke English so he could talk to somebody in the Taliban. Where did that information come from?
Yes, as obviously in the wake of him leaving, we had almost like every asset that you have available to you in Afghanistan was in the area searching for him. There is equipment that they can listen into radio communications, cell phone communications between people, and there was teams monitoring that chatter. I was standing right next to the radio when they heard that there's an American in a village called Yayakale, which was about 2 miles from where we were at, and it's a village that has a very, very large presence of Taliban. That the American is in Yayakale. He's looking for someone who speaks English so he can talk to the Taliban. And I heard it straight from the interpreter's lips as he heard it over the radio. And at that point, it was like, this is kind of snowballing out of control a little bit. There's a lot more to this story than just a soldier walking away.
And when was this? The day after or 2 days after?
This was, it was either, it was the 1 days after. I can't remember. It was very quick. I mean, and Yayakale was only 2 miles away.
Do you agree with what President Obama said earlier today, that no matter what the circumstances of an American soldier's disappearance or capture, the United States of America, the government has a duty to get him or her back?
My goal here is not to, I don't really want to get into the political side of anything. My goal is to show that Bergdahl is a deserter and he's not a hero and that he needs to answer for what he did. I will say that Bergdahl is an American citizen. Whether he wanted to be a soldier or not, or whether he didn't want to be an American anymore or whatever, the bottom line is he's an American citizen. And it's great that he's back and that we can have that very small victory, if you can even call it a victory, because I believe what we gave up for that, we gave up a lot for what we got back, and that's all I really want to say about that.
Evan Butow, thank you so much, and thank you for your service as always.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very happy to do it.